Chimamanda wants to destroy marriages. If you make the choice to publicly identify as feminist, you have to be prepared for hostility. And of course, there are men who think that they're going to lose out in some way. And if you've been thrust in a position of privilege that you haven't really earned, you don't want to lose it. You know? And so there's a sense in which I understand why they feel that way. But that when I said I was a feminist, somebody would say to me, oh, feminists are just women who cannot find husbands. They're just angry women. And it's older people who said to me, my daughters love you and I'm very worried about that. Sometimes our daughters argue with us and then they start by saying, Chimamanda says, and then they tell me we're worried because we're worried that they will never get married. And even them saying that, for me, I think it's so sad that still with, ostensibly progressive parents, there's a sense in which girls' life are still not giving full value until somehow marriage has validated it, It's still such a sad thing.
I think it's mothers who have such a hard time because
it's
there's too much.
Yeah.
There's too much burden on them. There's too much. The expectations on women, I think, it's just a bit too much. That we are the ones who always have to compromise. That we are the ones who sacrifice. So you see that across cultures, women are praised for things like, oh, she gave up everything for her family.
They become martyrs almost when they do.
Yes, women do the majority of the domestic work. Women do the child rearing. Why then is it surprising that women are exhausted and really can't do the things that just, because I think every human being should have the right to do that little thing that gives them joy.
Yeah.
The shaming of mothers who choose to work or not work has to stop. I mean, there are different ways of doing it. And I also think that fatherhood should be something that we make part of the cultural conversation as much as motherhood.
But many of those men, would they have the positions they have if they were not men? I don't think so. People who have said, well, women should not want quotas. It should all be merit. We should not do affirmative action for women. They should earn it. But the people who make these arguments have to remember that men have had centuries of affirmative action. If you belong to a group that has access to something because another group is excluded from that thing, then it's affirmative action. Women were excluded because they were women, and so it only makes sense that they should now be included because they are women. We should no longer feel uncertain or embarrassed about saying that we want a woman to have a position because she's a woman. Obviously, the underlying idea is that she's qualified. But yes, we should want a woman to have a position because she's a woman. Because for so long, we refused women positions because they were women.
Yes, I am a fan of Chimamanda, and I will continue to be a fan. Yes, because there's one thing about this our society. When they don't want you to talk, when they want to silence you, they call you feminist, so that they will create a kind of enmity between you and men. It will not look as if you're fighting men. No, you're not fighting anybody. You're fighting for your rights. You are trying to make them understand that you are equally a human being, that you live, you breathe. That's what you're fighting for. You're not fighting for anybody. You're not fighting against anybody. You're fighting for yourself. You want to live. You want to be alive. You want to be heard. You want benefits. You want all those things that makes life beautiful. That is all it is.